I hope everybody knows the legends and fairy tales about one of the most famous, or technically infamous in public finances, the outlaw called Robin Hood. I received a key from the publisher for Robin Hood Sherwood Builders, and I'm here to tell you what it is and if it's worth your time and money. Robin Hood Sherwood Builders brings new Robin Hood adventures from the Mean Astronauts team. It's an open-world medieval RPG that also mixes base or city builder elements. You will do quests, solve problems for the people of Sherwood, and expand your base, though sometimes these two worlds don't blend perfectly. Oh, and there's a touch of survival mechanics too. The developers clearly had high ambitions to deliver a big RPG like the ones from huge corporations, but with a smaller team. Did they manage it? You will find out later. The game was fully released on 29th February 2024, so I can give you a full review of the project. As you know, The Legends of Robin of Locksley is about an outlaw fighting cruelty and injustice, especially against corrupt, arrogant aristocrats, and most of all, a greedy, evil sheriff of Nottingham. As Robin, your task is to help the people of Sherwood, unite them by gaining strong allies from higher-ups and fight off the sheriff and his soldiers, as well as his mercenaries. To do that, you need to earn a reputation as a fine, trustworthy fella in 4 regions. You complete quests and side quests for people in need and gather the resources needed to expand your base. Growing stronger and better equipped since getting your hands on a fine steel is hard under the sheriff of Nottingham. The game uses a third-person view. You almost always see the world from Robin's back, so if you prefer first person, that's not an option. You start your adventure at the edge of your village. Early on, you meet Friar Tuck, who gives you a few quests explaining the game core. Since everything is new, you will spend some time gathering basic resources for your base. This part is time-consuming, but it shows you how the game works, and you also get a quest from Friar Tuck to help people in the local area. As an outlaw, you can chop trees, mine stone, and fight with both blade and arrow against sheriff, soldiers, bandits, and cultists roaming Sherwood. You also need to take care of Robin's basic needs. He needs food and water to stay ready for what's coming. Think you can fight or run on an empty stomach? Try it and tell me how you feel it. But yeah, in this game it's not that necessary feature. And what's cool is that every small or big character has voice acting. It might not be amazing quality, but it's there and it works.
Aye, well, it did. Still does.
So the gameplay splits in 2 modes. One RPG mode where you do quests, help people, fight bandits, push the story, and earn experience to level up and get skills to make Robin a much stronger outlaw. The second part focuses on survival and city builder aspects. You gather resources, craft weapons and tools, build various structures and expand your base so your people do simple tasks for you, saving your time. Both sides have their pros and cons, which divide opinion in reviews on Steam. The game wants to be a full open-world RPG, offering ideas you've seen in similar projects from bigger studios. Compared to those, it might be hard for Robin to win, but on an indie level, it's quite impressive. Typical quests involve talking to NPCs, then beating up baddies, gathering stolen goods from bandits' hideouts, and then beating up baddies, or sneaking into capture mines to rescue prisoners and then beating up baddies. You catch the drift. There are bandits, soldiers, and cultists, called Son of Adams or Spirit of the Forest, nearly everywhere. You will need lots of arrows since it's often safer to finish enemies with a bow than with a sword. One problem though, both sword and bows don't do much damage. Even if you get a critical hit, you need to hit them many times to take them down. I get that the challenge is part of the game, but having a send dozen of arrows to finish an enemy is annoying. You need to change enemy into a hog, but you don't gonna see it since arrow disappears after hitting. The game offers slow mode skill from the start to help aim correctly in sticky situations, and that's cool. Swords do a bit more damage, but at the beginning the game asks you what kind of fight you prefer, precise or dynamic. Originally played with precise since it forces you to plan your moves, while dynamic lets you just smash the attack button and hope for the best. You can change your fighting style anytime in the settings, so it's all good. Completing quests, killing enemies and gathering resources gives you experience, so Robin of Locksley level ups. Higher levels give you skill points for new passive skills like in 1000 other games. In the skill tree you'll find skills for swords, bows, defense, carrying weight, tool durability, weapons durability, running speed and more. One important skill early on is Hunter Sense. I don't know who thought Hunter Sense was a good idea? Like this. In many open world RPGs, you have some kind of radar or sense that shows you where enemies and key items are. In some games you can spam it, but here the cooldown is like 10 seconds at the beginning. That's stupid because you need to use it often, and even if you upgrade it, it still feels annoying. It really harms the gameplay experience. I don't understand this completely. The game also has a fast travel system that lets you jump between specific points like signposts. Thankfully the map is filled with them, so it's not a big deal. I like that when you begin, Robin is already wanted dead or alive for about 100 gold coins. As you progress and help people, that bounty increase. A cool feature. I also appreciate the extra activities. Sometimes you will find puzzle ruins with fine loot, or a caravan carrying stolen goods from peasants, even tax collectors with precious gold. There are events where you rescue people by cutting a rope with your arrow or stop an executioner before he does his dirty work. I enjoy these ruins puzzles. They come in many variants and sometimes offer a fun challenge for your mind, although some can be problematic due to design choices. Running around gathering resources can be fun at first when they are close by, but later you will need to find rare ones. Your inventory has limited carrying weight, but you can increase it and expand inventory slots by acquiring the right skills. Gathering loot is essential. Stones, coppers, ores, wood, herbs all need to go into your main store. When you build something, the game uses items from storage first. There's a catch though. Storage is limited, but you can expand it with gold. Since Robin has limited carrying weight, if you expand it, he can't run, only walk. Thankfully, the fast travel option saves the day when you have spent a lot of time collecting resources. You do a lot of this to expand your village. Only by building structures like blacksmith, alchemy, table, kitchen and more can you craft better and more complex equipment. I get it. If you think that since the sheriff confiscated all the weapons from peasants, you can't buy better gear or weapons besides very basic ones. In my playthrough, I only used vendors a few times, like for a mortar, which is only available from traders. Unfortunately, this part is a bit problematic. Some skills and crafting recipes are only unlocked by building proper structures, and this requires specific wood or workers, herbs and more. The more complex the building, the longer list of requirements. The game doesn't clearly tell you what to build first or which skills to prioritize. Plus, you often need a high amount of resources to start building, which slows down your progress when you want to do quests and get better gear before facing new adventure. The game somewhat helps you find proper minerals and resources, but then sometimes it doesn't. When you unlock signposts, local areas are marked on the map for mines and points of interest. However, you can only mark one spot at a time. As you run around the big map, you will see places with interesting buildings or unique trees, but you can't mark them for later. You have to remember where they are. I understand the developers didn't want a map full of markers, but you should be able to add markers for trees or ruins. Since the game is a full 3D world, you can't go everywhere you see. Some areas are locked until you progress further and you may encounter invisible walls. The art style is more like 2012, probably for optimized reasons. It runs smoothly on mid-range PC and even supports MDFSR if needed. Unfortunately, it's still on version 2.0 and I don't know why they haven't updated it. The interface includes a quick selection wheel and a minimalistic look, but also feels outdated. Not all textures are sharp or high quality, which makes the game look older. I do like that it has a full voice acting, though the same actors play multiple characters, which shows the developers were on a tight budget. You can notice this in animal hunting too. At the start, Freyr Tag asks you to hunt some deer. You grab your bow and arrows, go to the selected area and try to be sneaky, not scaring away your dinner. But soon enough, the deer run around randomly, and even if you change them, they don't react like you expect. There are definitely areas that need improvement to make the game better. Minor errors include occasional sound glitch when switching between areas with different background music. I clearly see the big ambitions in the projects, and I believe that you don't need a huge studio or billions of dollars to make an open world game with a story and fun concept. At the same time, Robin Hood Sherwood Builders shows that you still need these elements to create a huge story-rich open world by modern standard. If you are not aiming for a big budget AAA game, then this indie take is cool, better than many other indie projects. However, while playing, I saw that the team ambitious to aim higher. If the game were marked more clearly as an indie project rather than a big AA plus title, expectation might be lower and the experience better. I can't blame the dev team for trying to make something great, and in some areas they did. I don't get why they need separate dynamic and precise fighting styles. The dynamic style makes the game feel worse when the precise style is more fun. The devs wanted to give you more options, I suppose. Robin Hood Sherwood builders often a decent amount of content and I had fun playing it. I really like the enemy finishers. There are a few versions. You can try to be sneaky and attack enemies from behind, but the game is kind of 0-1 in that aspect and enemies can spot you even if you hide in bushes, thanks to the game lacks of flexibility. Again, I admire team's ambitions. I believe this project still needs early access or more development. Some elements are great, while others aren't. So I have mixed feeling about rating this project. I had fun with it and if I had more time, I'd play it more. The mixed review seems fair. It's not amazing, it's not awful, and it's not great, but it's definitely not a bad game. Robin Hood Sherwood Builders is just a good game, maybe an okay plus if you compare it to big AAA titles, and honestly I'd like to see more indie projects like this, because I had fun with it overall. So that's all folks, subscribe for more indie or smaller project content and see you next time, bye!